Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Welcome to everybody joining us here today. I'm excited that we're talking all about our upcoming symposium, our Labor and Delivery Symposium 2023. And I have a special guest here today. LaShea Haynes is with us and going to be talking about, she's going to be talking about sharpening your knowledge of fetal heart monitoring concepts. So welcome, LaShea. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Wonderful. Now, of course, we have a little bit of an inside scoop to the presentation. I had the privilege of listening to it already. This will be a recorded presentation, so everybody's going to be able to come and listen to it after the 25th of September. And of course, you can register for this event by going over to our website at goldlearning.com and register for not only this presentation, but all of the presentations that are going to be part of our symposium. Now, LaShea, tell me a little bit about your practice, because I know this is something that you're very passionate about. You've been in the industry for a long time. Tell me, how did you get in, and a little bit about what you're doing now?
So I have, as you said, been in OB about 27 years. And when you end up in that long, you kind of do a little bit of everything. So I think even the business in itself, that's where the name kind of came from. Potpourri is like a little bit of everything, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So perinatal potpourri is just kind of is what it is of just education. It's molding together all the things that I've done in that time frame. And I really enjoy education. So I think education is where
Mm.
my passion really is. But I also enjoy taking care of my moms. So, I do work in an LDRP, and so I get that opportunity to spend time with patients. I am the editor of Healthy Mom and Baby magazine, so I get time educating through writing in our magazine to mothers. And then, through my passion in education, I'm able to mentor new nurses and just been educating and teaching fetal monitoring for 20 plus years.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And you have many awards, accolades. I know everyone can definitely go read about them in your bio, because I think it's really special. You have contributed in so many different ways to the community. So, I definitely appreciate that, because it takes a very wise woman to stand in the pillar of, a community like this that sometimes doesn't always agree. There's lots of things that are happening on our labor and delivery wards that are outdated, as you've mentioned before. And so part of what you're doing is really to sort of get people up to speed, educate, make sure they know how to get the resources. And so tell me a little bit about how you've been doing that recently.
So I think some of it just in real time. Sometimes when we say something's online or you can look something up, that can have a scary component to it because how long is it going to take me? How long am I going to be surfing? So
Right.
what they're going to find in this PowerPoint in the short hour is they're going to get some resources and know exactly how to go so that at the end of this, they know exactly where to go to get those resources.
That's fantastic. Now, tell me a little bit about you're actually a trainer in fetal heart monitoring. So tell me, how did you and why did you get into that sort of specific area?
Well, it started back when I was in about fifth grade. Where I either wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. And when I learned that nurses do tons of education with both their patients and teaching other nurses, I guess it all started there.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so just in the midst of just loving education, it all just organically kind of fell together. I actually started off though doing childbirth education. So I was a childbirth
Right.
educator first and
Mm,
really enjoyed that. And then it kind of, then it
moved
moved
on.
into, yes, and to
Found
doing
your
fetal monitoring.
path. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So was the fetal monitoring something that just struck you as being important to educate and instruct on? What was that? What drew you into that specific area?
Well, I think it is important because it's depending on what facility you're at. Some people, 90% of their day is spent doing fetal monitoring. So
Right.
it's an area where we need to be, as labor and delivery nurses competent. It's
Mm,
vital for our, survival, for the survival of our patients to
mm,
improve maternal outcomes, to decrease
sure.
maternal morbidity and mortality. It's important to stay up to date, to know your practice, know where the resources are, how to get to them, and do all of that while just having fun and being energized and yeah, ready to take care of the next patient full of knowledge.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I can just imagine over the years that even some of the technology has probably improved. Have you seen a lot of adjustments in teaching fetal monitoring to your students there?
That's an interesting question, and I will tell you with the although there has been advancements, and they'll hear a little bit about this, in my presentation. With this specifically being birth happening over the past 6,000 years, what we're finding is yes, technology is nice, but there's something to be said about the physiology of the body and how that has been working for 6,000 years. And so I think where we are in 2023 is finding a way of marrying the two. There is something
Mm.
to be said, right, about what already works. Don't fix what isn't broken. Going back to the basics, I would say, are some of the theme topics that we're really using in OB.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So in your time, you've obviously seen some changes. Have you seen yourself evolve in the sense that, you used to do things a certain way and now you've come sort of this full circle as an educator. So obviously you're staying up to date with all the sort of latest sort of protocols, like you said, getting back to basics. So what have you seen yourself change and evolve into?
I think just really what would I would say shared decision making of really making
Mm,
sure they're going
right,
to watch a quick clip and video, and I won't give them too much in that video, but there's lots of discussion around respectful care and just decreasing mom's fears and making sure that she understands the labor process, because I think something that's different even for our moms in 2023 that was very different. I mentioned how I started out with childbirth classes, so it was a thing to do, like, right, 8 weeks, people 6 weeks,
right.
people
Yeah.
came on a Wednesday evening and they sat and they learned about childbirth and they really prepared themselves for this birthing process. It doesn't happen as much anymore. So you find yourself as nurses having to provide more real time education, because sometimes they're terrified. They have no idea what's happening. They don't know what the latent phase is and active phase, and what does transition mean, and how long is that going to last, and what is it going to feel like, and some of those really simple things that were answered during childbirth classes. A lot of patients nowadays are missing that piece. So if anything, I find myself having to do that childbirth class in the laboring process kind of all at
So
the same time.
interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Childbirth used to be, I went to my 8 weeks. I promise I did. But now,
Hmm.
yeah, you don't see that as much. And it is those 1 day classes. Some people show up, they haven't taken anything, which is quite common. And so, yeah, I can imagine the little snippets of information that you're having to give them and not overload right in real time. Amazing work that you're definitely doing. Now, tell me a little bit about your actual website. I love this. I know you mentioned it earlier in our conversation. So tell me about what you're doing over there, how people reach you, and what are some of the things that are coming up there?
Sure. So yeah, on my website, they can definitely register for A1 classes. They'll see that I teach all of the intermediate, advanced, if they want to become an instructor. In our latest course, and I was one of the original writers for the first and second edition, obstetric patient safety, so known as OPS. And so that course can really give nurses an opportunity to do some simulation and gaming and things like that. I also love teaching inpatient and EFM review classes, so you can get some NCC prep. Let's get certified. You'll find some information there on monthly Zoom educational offerings, and a pretty funny story. So during COVID, my daughter had a baby. And so, of course, I had to become a doula, right, to be
Yeah.
at the bedside. And
Yeah.
I've always loved doulas anyway. I have a lot of respect for them. The literature says them simply being in the room and sitting in a chair improves outcomes, right? So I'm for
Yeah.
anything that will help to improve maternal outcomes. And so I became a doula during COVID to be there when my beautiful granddaughter Carmen was born. But my husband also became a doula, because what if I got COVID and we had to have a backup method. So I've rubbed off on him in this 27 years of being an OB.
Wow.
So in addition, what you'll find on my website is that my husband teaches daddy boot camp classes every fourth
Oh,
Tuesday.
cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of come like a family affair. So you'll
That's
find a lot there.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. He's a doodler. I love it. I
Yes,
love
he
it.
is a
That's
doula.
very cool. What a great story. And yeah, that is such an honor and a privilege to be there as part of the next generation in the family, which is what it used to be, right? We used to have the aunties and the mothers all there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you're recreating some history there, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, just tell us again, what's your website, LaShea?
It is perinatalpotpourri.com. And
Perfect.
that's
That's awesome. Yeah. So that's where you can find all the information about what LaShea's doing and all her passion and what she's doing. But of course, you can come and find her on our website too at goldlearning.com. There you'll find all the information about the upcoming symposium for labor and delivery. And of course, that will be available shortly. LaShea is going to be talking about sharpening your knowledge of fetal heart monitoring concepts. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today, LaShea. It was absolutely fabulous having you.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed being here. I really have. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We'll see you definitely in the forums as part of this symposium. The forums are going to be live. And so we're excited to be sharing some of our community there and learning more about each one of you. Thank you again for joining us here today, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye for now.